Join me as I create a beautiful prism. Here's our before picture. Okay, I have decided to give my lovely lady here a brand new color patch here. So to start with, I braided everything out of the way. She was a demonstration from previous classes, but today we're going to be giving her a prism down this patch here. But the first thing I need to do is to lighten all of this hair. Okay, we're going to go and foil up, tuck it in. It's kind of nice working with a doll, just for the sake of having the ability to run the foil right down her face. I started this whole project by preparing the hair with a little bit of the Insecure leave-in spray that helps even out the porosity of the hair, so I can be assured that we'll get a nice even result from our lightning. And we're just going to bring this down right on top of the rest. If I were doing this in the salon, I might choose to work off to the side or use a balayage board to balance on. I've chosen to use for today Light Master pre-bonded with 40 volume developer, so I can make sure that this lovely lady lightens up as much as I need her to be lightened up. I am also taking the liberties of putting the lightener directly on her scalp. If I were also in the salon working on a human guest, I would seal each strand in its own packet so I could get right up to the root without getting on the root. But I can take a few little liberties with my sweet lady here, so I'm doing that. Once we get this on and processed, I don't need it to be fully up to a level 10. 8 or 9 will suffice, as I will be utilizing some bright colors, and as they're not pastels, I'm not concerned that I will be losing depth or making them muddy if there's a little bit more golden tones left in her hair. She's already relatively warm, and I don't think that will be a problem as I continue the exciting process of creating a prism. I may or may not share the entire process. This part goes relatively quickly. I think she's got some length on her hair, but I'm only doing this front portion that I parted out mostly down the center and then created a subsection just in the fringe and a little bit back so that we have a solid and large enough section, but not having to go too far down the head, too far down this way or in the back. And I've braided all of the hair out of the way to allow for the other hair to not get involved while I am working in this very specific front section. So I'm just adding a little bit more lightener so I can be able to ensure my results. When in doubt, add more. And then I'll foil this as soon as I get this finished up so I don't end up having big lines in here. It's not the end of the world, but it's nice to not end up missing subsections. And then we'll just take foil, lay it down, take another one, lay it down, and we'll just turn that up. And there we have it, letting her sit and rest for 20 to 30 minutes. I'll make sure to share that timing once we get it light enough. All right, we processed for 40 minutes. She was washed with bleach finder and pre-treated with Instacure spray. Okay, so we've got her good and blonde, and now we're going to start the slightly tedious part of creating a prism. I'm going to be using her hairline as my guide, as my starting point, and we shall start the process. So, oil and a board. It's going to take a little bit of maneuvering, but I'm going to start with some pink. To get down in there so that she has full coverage. And just come up, slap Try not to color her face too much. Onward. I think I'm going to go for about an inch wide in my placement. I have 5 colors here. So each one will be laid out in inch wide sections. We'll take our sweet time here. Next comes some blue. It's making noise over there. I can tell that it's going to definitely get obnoxious. So once I do this first panel here, I'm likely going to turn off the sound and just simply work, speed up the video and continue to work in maybe as a voiceover, but what we're doing here is still following the same pattern, which will be pink, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then repeat until we get to the end of the hair. I'm going to be adding a second foil so I can make sure that I actually have the room to do the entire piece here. And then we'll go in with the blue. Yeah, that's going to make just a ton of these. Maybe I'll, before I turn off the camera, maybe I'll take a moment to show the next section as it goes in real time. And I'm using the board here as a solid foundation so that I don't destroy the pattern that I am following. And we'll go until I have no more hair to put color on, which will likely be just to the blue here. Yeah, I probably could have turned that purple, but that's okay. All right, so there we have the first section here, and we'll sneak across, and we're going to take just a fine sub-parting, lay it right over the top of everything. And I'm going to, real quickly, before I put my board back in, just hit these roots, just like when I was lightening. I'm not as concerned about changing her scalp color. She's not likely to have an issue with that. So now this is the part that makes things a little bit easier with having the pattern in, which is to just do all of the sections of the color that you're working with. I have my board underneath as a support, but the color also helps hold everything down. And then we'll come down here to the other pink and stick that on there. Ta-da. Then we move on to yellow, back up to the top. This is also something that I might shift where I'm working from if I were working on a human, but a doll is okay with all kinds of creative methods, because she's not going to worry about not being able to see or that I poked her in the eye or something. So, and then come back up for the green. Scooch down. The first time I ever did a color like this, it took me almost half of the process to realize that I could come through and do each color one at a time. Rather, I just went and kept doing the like, oh, do this, then this, then this, then this, and all the way down. And so it took way longer than, quite frankly, it should have, just because I was so busy changing out each color as I came to it, rather than just working all together. So that's a lesson learned. I won't, I feel like coming in here and handling things as you know, once you've got the color pattern set, just doing each one as you know, each color, rather than trying to do one, in this case, stripe at a time. This actually helps speed up the process. And if there's anything hanging out down here, just add a little purple. Okay, and that, I'm going to finish this up, but I won't be directly recording my voice here. I'll just do a voiceover and speed up. So I've sped up this process. It was about another 20 minutes or so that I took to create the remainder of the color. You can see I'm only applying one color at a time here. So yellow, then the green, and so on as I go. Another thing is, you may notice that I no longer am holding the balayage board, because the hair and the color have stiffened up the foil enough that I no longer need the support of the board and can just rest on my hand. So we'll go through and continue to add one little layer at a time. Also, as I'm going a little further back on the head, I am shifting the color that I am starting with so that we can maintain the 1-inch wide sectioning for each of these colors and not stretching out, say, the pink all the way across the roots. So it is quite a little bit of a technical challenge, but not impossible. And as I've said before, it's helpful that this is a doll and I'm not worried about coloring her scalp because she won't care. You can see though I'm taking rather thin slices to come down to make sure that I'm getting full saturation of every subsection as I am creating it. And we're almost done with the application of the colors. By doing them one color at a time, it does speed up the process significantly. Like I said, this whole subsection was about 20 minutes total. I have sped it up a lot, but it still wasn't that long of time to go through all of this. And here we are laying down the last bit of color. I am done here, and we're going to just do a little up close show and tell of the colors as they go. So you can see the yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, and repeating that pattern all the way down to the end of the hair. This processed for 20 minutes, and then I washed with Instacure, used the spray and the Instacure Build-A-Bond leave-in sealing balm to create smoothness and shine, which you can see very well here. And this whole part, I am really just playing with it, watching the colors as they shift and create this fun prism effect. You can see how it kind of adjusts as the hair shifts around. So when it is pulled straight down, it's definitely much more of a straight line. And then as I've combed it back, you can see more of that prism effect rather than like in the front. As I pull it straight down here, you can see the lines, but as it is being manipulated around, it now creates this lovely kind of oil slick prism that is just, in my opinion, super, super cute. So playing around, letting the colors sort of express themselves. So now it looks like an oil slick very much, but see the stripes, but then looking at these lovely pictures that are showing more of the effect of the prism. And then I decided to braid the hair down, and I think that it's super fun to see all of the colors as they're expressed through the braid. And that is the end. Thanks for watching.